Hello, everybody. David here. Welcome. Here we share true stories from real people. Today, starting out with the first story, phone call destroyed me, plus updates, original story. Hello, fellow users. I have created this throwaway account so friends don't find this post. I, 38 male, just found out my girlfriend, 36 female, of 5 years cheated on me, and I found out in the worst way. Just some background information on me. I've never been married, nor do I have any kids. It's not that I don't want either. Life just hasn't had those plans for me yet, I guess. Anyway, on to the story. Friday after work, I left to go on a weekend trip with the guys to one of my buddies' cabins on the lake. Nothing too crazy. Fishing, drinking, games, just good old fun. Usually we do these trips about every 3 months to get time to ourselves and give our significant others a break from us. I usually stay through the entire weekend and just leave from there to go to work on Monday morning. However, this weekend I left my laptop in the office room and forgot to grab it. So around 4 p.m., I started to head home. Figured I'd be there by 6 and let's call her Rachel, wouldn't have eaten by then. So I call in and order at her favorite Italian place, stopped by and picked it up and headed to the house. I walked in and everything seemed normal. I could hear Rachel laughing in the kitchen, so I figured I'd just walk in and surprise her. As I got closer, I started to overhear the conversations that she was having on the phone, and in an instant my life was shattered. I assumed that she was talking to her sister or maybe one of her friends, but the conversation basically went like this. Last night was just amazing. He was such a considerate lover. Hoth. I'm telling you, I have never had anything like it. Hoth. We met on Tinder and he took me out last night. By the time we made it through the door, we barely made it to the sofa. Hoth. Oh God, big. Like twice as big as, inserts my name. Hoth. I'll definitely be taking him for a test drive again. After that line, I just dropped the food on the floor. Rachel heard it and turned around. By that time, I had already had tears welling up in my eyes. She hung up the phone and tried to get to me, but I just pushed her off. Went up to the office, grabbed my laptop and left. Rachel had been hysterically texting and calling the past 4 days, and I haven't answered one of those. I'm staying at a motel a couple of towns over, so I doubt she will be able to find me. My buddies and mom have called as Rachel has frantically been trying to locate me, but I've assured everyone I'm okay and there is nothing to worry about. My life has been ruined by a stupid phone call. I really thought this was the girl that I was going to spend the rest of my life with. I'm an only child and my mom keeps reminding me she wants grandkids. I'd planned on proposing this year on the 4th of July, as it would be our 6-year anniversary. I've already got the ring and my buddy and his wife already know about the plan, as they were the ones who set us up and hosted the 4th cookouts. Any advice from you here would be appreciated. This is the first time I've dealt with infidelity in any relationship. I'm really just broken at this point. Do I contact Rachel? Should I hear her out? After that phone call, the thought of her just makes me sick to my stomach. For anyone who reaches out, my opinion is that it's unforgivable if someone cheats on you, because once a cheater, always a cheater. Now for some additional comments. This person says one thing that would matter to me, if I found myself in this scenario, is remorse, regret, and shame. She was bragging about it to whoever and laughing, also admitting that she would be doing it again. She can call all she wants hysterically crying. It doesn't change the fact that she cheated, bragged, laughed, and was going to do it again, and only showed any sort of remorse once she was caught. Sometimes the universe shows you who someone is not the person they pretend to be, but who they are when they believe no one is watching. The universe provided you with that. You saw and heard the true Rachel in that moment, and I couldn't agree more so on this. Opie says made this post during lunch. Well, thank you all so much for the kind words and replies. I'm going to take a lot of your advice and go to the walk-in clinic tomorrow for an STD test. As for her, I don't know what I'm going to do. I understand that ghosting her is a common theme on here, but I don't think that's the kind of person I am. I want some answers, and like most of you, I assume this wasn't the first time. I just kind of want acknowledgement of the fact. My mom knows what's going on, as I just filled her in before this post, and my 3 buddies are coming to my hotel tonight. I told them not to share anything due to Rachel being close with 2 of the 3 wives. I'll share with them tonight and figure out how to proceed going forward. There will be no reconciliation. Like a lot of you said, those words keep replaying over and over in my head. This is done. As for the house we are renting currently, I was planning on buying this fall after we would have been engaged. Our lease runs out in October, so I will pay my half until then, as my name is on the lease with her. As for the ring, I don't know what the F I'm going to do with it. If I can, I'll return it. Again, thanks for all the kind words. Sorry I'm not individually replying to posts. Right now I'm just not in the right mind space to reply over and over. But your kind words mean a lot. Thank you all. This person says, do you know which friend of hers she was talking to? I wonder if it was one of your friend's wives. If it was, I hope he knows what kind of stuff his wife is okay with supporting, and I really hope none of your friends knew about this and didn't tell you. Hopefully it wasn't someone you knew and were close to, as that would be another portrayal. I guess you will find out sooner or later when you see who supports you after you tell your friends the truth. Now on to the updates. Update 1. Hello everyone. First off, I would like to thank everyone for their kind words. I've had a very stressful week, and while I did not feel up to replying to anyone's posts, I want you all to know that I read them and your words helps me through the week. This has been a devastating event for me, and each and every one of you that commented or reached out through chat brightened my day just a tiny bit. With that said, here is the most recent update. Last Friday night, after my buddies got to the hotel, they explained what I heard on the phone call. All 3 of them were stunned, to say the least. They asked if I saw any signs of this, and to be honest, I really hadn't. I said I didn't know what I was going to do. I informed one of my buddies that the proposal was off, and given the circumstances, he completely understood. One thing I had my buddies do when they left their houses is turn off their tracking in case their significant others were checking up and getting back to Rachel. I know Rachel isn't close with one of the wives, but at this point I didn't want to take any chances. That night we spent the night at the hotel bar, and I tailspun pretty hard, shot after shot after shot. It wasn't pretty. My buddies were getting calls all night from their significant others asking where they were, and to their credit, they stood their ground and backed me up, just saying that we were safe and not to worry. One asked to speak with me after assuming that where they were, but I didn't want to talk to her. She kept saying Rachel is worried and just wants me to come home. I just told my buddy to deal with it and I'll fill them in another time. I spent most of the night hitting on the bartender, which I'm not proud of, and a couple of girls who were traveling for work. The next day I thanked them all for spending time with me, and they took off back home. This week, I had one of my buddies scope out the house we were renting, as it was on his way to work, and he gets to work after Rachel and I would have already left for the day. Rachel had taken Monday and Tuesday off, but went back to work on Wednesday. As soon as he informed me of this, I went to the house and started packing as much stuff as I could. The house wasn't a mess, and dishes were in the sink, clothes laying everywhere, trash was full of takeout and ordered food. It took me about 3.5 hours to get all my crap out. Before I left, I cleaned up for Rachel as a final gesture. That afternoon and evening, I got flooded by Rachel with calls and texts after she realized that I'd came home and gotten all my things. So for now, I'm staying at my mother's house until I can find a place of my own this fall. I spoke with the landlord, and without Rachel's signature, he won't remove me from the lease, meaning I will have to cover my half of it until October. My mom has said that I can stay with her until then, at which point I will try to find a new place. I know, a 38-year-old moving back in with his mother, how amazing life has treated me. I finally contacted Rachel on Thursday and told her we could meet up at a local bar and grill downtown Friday evening. I told her one of my buddies would be attending to make sure everything was on the up and up. She complained for a few minutes, saying she wanted me to come home and talk with her so we could move past this, but I told her if she wanted to see me, this is how it was going to be. Eventually, she agreed. So Friday night, Rachel shows up after my buddy and I had been there for about an hour. I had already eaten and had a couple of drinks to calm me down. We sat down and she wanted to make small talk, asking about me and blah blah blah. I cut the garbage off. I told her I had a list of questions. Immediately her eyes welled up. I asked her, how long has this been going on for? She swore this was the first and only time. I told her to cut off the shit. I said that there was no change we were ever getting back together, so just tell me the truth so I can have my closure and move on with my life. She stuck to her guns for a few minutes, but then, as most of you predicted, she came clean. Every time I went on those trips for the past 2 years, she thought I was going to cheat on her, so she was having her fun too. This set me off. I told her she was using this as an effing excuse to just sleep around. I then asked who she was talking on the phone with, but she refused to give me an answer for this. I asked if they use condoms, and she said sometimes. I said she's lucky I got an STD test because I'm clean, so she doesn't have to worry about getting one unless her most recent horse didn't use one. Finally, after I left, I told her about my plans. July 4th proposal, I showed her the ring and told her that I was going to propose at her friend's party because that was where they had introduced us. It was around here that she just started crying. She begged for another chance. I told her that I will always love her, but we are over with. So yeah, she's been messaging me all day, but I'm going to block her here soon. So I'm just sitting here eating alone, B-dubs, and drinking beer while watching the fights. Hopefully Poirier wins, but I'm doubting it. My life is a train wreck. Anyway, thanks guys for listening. I don't know if I'll update again. Update 2. Hello there, Redditors. I just want to thank each of you for the kind words. It means a lot to me. A few things have happened the last day, so I figured I'd fill you in. Nothing too exciting, but nonetheless, here it is. Rachel is no longer invited to the 4th cookout, so I am free and clear, and don't need to worry about any confrontation with her. If you remember in my last post, while at the bar, one of the wives was trying to talk to me. She is the wife that hosts the 4th cookout. Apparently, Rachel had told her that she had only cheated once, and it was a huge mistake, and that's why she was trying to get me to talk things out with her. When I spoke with her this past Tuesday, I let her know the whole truth. She immediately called Rachel, who confirmed my line of events was livid, and started yelling at her, and told her it would be best if she didn't show up to the event on the 4th because I was going to be there, and frankly what she did to me was vile and disgusting. She then asked me to forgive her, and said she had no idea. I explained it wasn't her fault and she had nothing to ask for forgiveness for. We were both sold on a lie by someone we cared about. As for who was on the phone with her, I could only imagine it was her sister. The two wives who are best friends with her remain solid that they had no idea Rachel was doing this, as apparently on the Saturday evening, while we were away, they would have had a girls' night at my house until about 11 p.m. and talk about the typical girl garbage and drink wine. The one who isn't even friends with her, but particularly in these events, confirmed it. The thing that makes me think it was her sister is I've attempted to reach out to her 3 times now, and I've gotten no text back, no call back, nothing. Her mother has called and said that she's upset about the breakup and asked if there's anything that they can do to change my mind, but I told her that's just not happening. I went back to work on Monday after taking the week off, so I'm back to my normal routine now. No more booze in the near future. My liver will thank me for that. This community has helped me a lot, and I personally want to thank each and every one of you for all of it. I don't know if I'll update this account again, as it seems that this is the end of the situation. By the way, Rachel has been blocked on all platforms, so right now, she has no way to contact me. Cookout host said that she isn't doing good right now, and she told me that before I explained what really happened, but as his life I'm not doing good either, but I'm moving on and putting all this behind me. Thanks again, community. I'll rock. Story 2. Update. I, a 28 female, am pregnant with her second baby. 28 male husband wants me to abort or divorce me. Original story. My husband and I have been married for almost 2 years. We have a 15-month-old and we plan to have this second baby. Our relationship has always been up and down, but recently when we were doing good we talked about having a second child close in age to our first, and now I'm 10 weeks pregnant. About 2 weeks ago, we got into a major argument, which turned into him sleeping in a hotel every night, and not coming home to see our son or talk to me. His mom thinks that I should get an abortion, which I think has been part of his whole shift, not wanting this baby anymore, because he was really excited about it prior to her saying that. He's been so mean and avoidant, and I just don't know how to get through to him. I've already had 2 abortions prior to our marriage with him, and on top of all this he wants a divorce, or he wants me to sign a post-nup. I found out he's in Vegas right now with his buddy, and he told me he isn't wearing his wedding ring. He's been following random girls on Instagram. It's just too much. From the beginning I've been very excited to have this baby, and really didn't even consider an abortion, until now that infidelity is in question, and just coming to realize how horrible he's been. I've been praying over him and our marriage every day, and it just seems like it gets worse and worse. I'm starting to question my faith, honestly. I just don't know what to do. We've had one face-to-face conversation this entire time where we could talk about her feelings, but other than that he continues to stonewall me, gaslight me into thinking our friends and family don't like me, gaslight me into thinking all this is my fault, and is coercing me into an abortion and a divorce that I don't want. Please help. Now for the update. My pregnancy. I went last Friday to have another ultrasound, and the baby keeps measuring smaller. My due date keeps getting pushed back, so I'm trying to get a hold of my OB to make a more well-rounded decision. See what she thinks about the low development. I would like to keep the baby still, but last night my husband texted me with a frightening text. That be effing careful because your next husband might kill you with the games you play. I just cannot even wrap my mind around that statement. My marriage. He came to Palm Springs last weekend, where I'm staying with my mom for the time being. He spent a few hours with her son, and we were able to talk. It seems like he is just very embarrassed that all our friends and family know that he's been gone in hotels for weeks on end, and he is definitely taking advantage of me, trying to be nice and offer an olive branch. He sent me videos of him filling out divorce papers, saying he was going for full custody. But I haven't been served, so who knows if he will actually go through with it. I would just be done with this guy. He is not worth it. Post-nup. He keeps saying the reason why he wants me to sign a post-nup is because we have a commercial real estate brokerage that he founded in 2022 and I've been doing all the marketing for until I stepped away and became a stay-at-home mother. I still do social here and there, help him get marketing materials ordered and designed for a convention we had last spring. We recently did a rebrand last winter that I took charge on. I've supported him from the beginning, and although I'm not the founding broker, I do feel like I've been on this journey with him as a business partner and a wife. This business is our livelihood. Our friends and family work for us. We have about 20 employees and sold $250 million in total sales volume the first year, and it's essentially doubled or more every year. He says he doesn't want me to get half of the company because the company is his, and he says, even if we divorce now, he would still take 100% of the company because California is a community property state, and we would have to be married for at least 5 years for me to get half of the business in the divorce. So I'm not sure honestly if it seems like there's something he isn't telling me, because he only brings this post-nup up when we are arguing and he's threatening to divorce me. Thank you all for all the advice, everyone. I know it's hard with a limited information and only my POV. I would go to a lawyer is what I would do. Story 3. Me 32 female husband 33 male is maybe cheating with a student 18 female. What do I do? I'm freaking out right now. My partner is a high school math teacher. He has been teaching now for a decade now, and generally has been praised by students' parents, other teachers and admins for how he does his job. We've been together for 7 years. We got married in 2023. I've never worried about him being interested in any of his students. We've even talked about teacher-student relationships, and he has never expressed anything other than disgust and how it's an abuse of power even if the student is an adult. He has never been called out for being inappropriate that I know of. Never engaged with students over the weekend or summer unless at school or related, but even then all contact is through school email or with the parents. He generally refers to his students as his kids and actively keeps a distance from developing too close of a relationship because he is young and attractive and other male teachers recommended he do so. Okay, so here's what happened. Around March we were at the movie theater one evening, and I noticed a gaggle of girls staring and pointing. I notified my partner, assuming that they were his students, and he told me I was right. We did not go over to say anything or hi. We have seen his students before out and about, and he says hi on a case-by-case basis but typically doesn't initiate, and they did not come to us, but I noticed the rest of the girls playfully shoving one girl with lots of whispers, and the girl was staring at my husband sheepishly. I immediately thought that she probably had a crush and honestly thought nothing of it after until last weekend. We were celebrating Canada Day at a barbecue with family, and my husband was pretty wasted. At one point he went to the bathroom and didn't come back for a long time. I was worried he was getting sick, so I checked in on him. When I knocked and said it was me, he said he was okay and would be out but didn't unlock the door. He stayed in the bathroom for another 10 minutes. Super unusual for him, but it could have been anything. Later that night I woke up around 3 and he wasn't in bed. Worried again, I got up and found him on his phone in the living room. This is also unusual. When I asked what he was doing, he was definitely surprised and hit his phone screen. He said he couldn't sleep and didn't want to wake me up by watching videos next to me in bed. We both went back to sleep together. The next morning he was hungover and slept in. I went through his phone. I have never not had a reason to trust him, so I have never gone through his phone. I found nothing of interest except for the Snapchat app. He used to use Snapchat, but from what I knew hadn't been in years. I honestly assumed nothing finding the app and figured I was reading too much into things. Last night I saw a Snapchat notification pop up on his phone while we were watching TV. It was out of the corner of my eye, but the top logo is too recognizable to mistake. My heart effing dropped, because knowing he was logged out last week means he is definitely using it secretly. I pretended like I didn't notice, and a couple minutes later he got up to take a long poop. I cried while he was in the bathroom. Shortly afterwards I said I was going to bed early, and he stayed up without me. He's on summer break. When I got up for work he was still passed out. I went on his phone and found no Snapchat app. It was then that I knew something was shady for sure, and when I looked up Snapchat on the home screen, it was there, just hidden on a folder of apps disguised as cooking and workout apps. He had not logged out of Snapchat when I opened it. There was only one conversation with a real human, and it was a girl. There was no evidence of conversation between them, because for those who don't know, Snapchat deletes previous messages for good. I was ready to confront him for cheating, but basically zero evidence, but decided to keep snipping for something concrete. In that same disguised folder, I found out that he had OnlyFans downloaded. The only content creator he was subscribed to had the same username as the woman on Snapchat, but it's his effing student. The one from the theater who was blushing. I've never clocked a face so fast. I am 100% certain. We make fun of OnlyFans simps all the time, so I was already disgusted, but I actually threw up when I found this. I was scared I was going to wake him and genuinely didn't know what to do, so I put his phone back and left for work. At work I did some sleuthing and was able to find the girls' Instagram and Twitter accounts. She's 18 and from grad photos I can tell with certainty that she attended my husband's school. The same OnlyFans link was in her Twitter bio. He has texted me normally throughout the day, and I have not responded to any, but to tell him I have to go to my parents tonight, but in reality I am still at work because I don't know what to do. The reality is that this is effed up, but she has graduated, so this now is just the same as any old affair. I don't even know if she was in any of his classes. I don't know what to think. I don't know what to do next. Lawyer? Should I ask my husband and see what he says? Should I ask her? Edit to add, does anybody know how to and if he can tell when an app was first downloaded? That's all for today. If you're enjoying the story, please like the video and share your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you.